welcome everybody to another great episode of Real Life Matters. And of course, I am your host, DBoss. And I'm just hoping everybody's been doing their 15 minutes of laughing, because laughing is good for your soul. It's good to you do every day. You release all those endorphins. You warm up your voice for things like what we do, and radio and TV. You got to keep that voice going. It also keeps you youthful. It tones the abs. I'm not saying you stop going to the gym, but you just got to keep, you can laugh. And it's only 15 minutes minimum. If you could do more, the better for you. What you put out for your day is good. If you're sitting in a job that you're always serious, then you better get there, and you might have to do 45 minutes of laughing so you could get that sternness out of your body, and then you won't look so old or older. So because when you're laughing, the laughter keeps you youthful and youthful looking. So you just got to keep it going, and keep it, what you put out. And I get a lot of feedback that everybody says that they're so glad that they started that and putting that in their daily routine. They're feeling better. If somebody says, "Oh, I can't find anybody to laugh with," well, call somebody, put something on. There's so many streaming things. There's so many things that you could see funny. You go on TikTok, or, these shorts or videos or something. There's something funny and always in there when you could be scrolling through. So, I just encourage everybody to do that. You're going to thank me so far. And it's almost a year I'm telling people that, and they are feeling better. So we have a special guest for you today. And when we come back after the one from the sponsors, Vital Steps to Vital Health, we'll be right back with him, and we're going to find out about his journey.
Welcome to your Vital Steps to Better Health. I'm Joanne James. Today we're going to talk about exercising in the sun. We all love the sun. It's been the winter. Now we want to get out into the fresh air and enjoy the great weather. However, we have to be very mindful when we're exercising in the sun. First of all, you want to protect your skin at all costs. Regardless of your background, you still need to wear a sunblock of 30 plus. Also, you want to make sure you're wearing a hat to protect your facial skin, as well as glasses to protect your eyes. Also, make sure that you hydrate as you're doing your activities. Sometimes you won't feel that you're thirsty, but in actual fact you are. So make sure you drink. Don't wait to become dehydrated first. And listen to your body. If you start feeling a little nauseous or dizzy or fatigued, that might be signs of a heat stroke. Get into the shade, sit down, and call somebody to assist you. Being out in the sun and exercising is great, but you have to be very, very, very aware of where you are, what you're doing, and make safety your top priority. I'm Joanne James, and this has been your Vital Steps to Better Health and Fitness. See you next time.
Thank you, Joanne James, for that tip. You know what? And everybody has to hydrate, and it doesn't mean drinking alcoholic beverages is a part of the hydration. So you have to drink liquid. If you're drinking a beer or some kind of beverage, put some water there too, because that alcohol is not hydrating you. That is, yes, it may feel good, it may go down, but you're still gonna have to put that water in. I tell people, because people say, "Oh, well, I drink, I'm having like 5 or 6 beers." No. It can be rum punch or whatever it is. It's not that. So please, everybody, can put their drinks, the water. If you can't drink the flat water, there's sparkling water. There's all kinds of water. Because personally, I don't like the flat water. I like the sparkling water. So that's the one I get. So we have somebody here that's been doing things for a long time. And he's a DJ. He's an event promoter. He's the director of Catalogue of VP Records, NYC. And he also founded the Coney Island Reggae on the Boardwalk in 2010. So we're going to find out all about the journey, because, he's done so much stuff, and he probably can't wait to, just get it all out. And, he does, radio. He's doing, when people have all so many talents, sometimes it's hard to get anything out. But we're going to dissect them down today. So with no further ado, I introduce to you Carter Van Pelt.
Hello, greetings, the boss. You're already making me laugh. I love your energy.
Thank you.
And great advice you're dispensing about laughter for sure. That's a lot. 15 minutes a day that's a good quota.
Yeah. 15 minutes and it goes by quick. You're watching a show and you're laughing, like what? Maybe you might think it's 15, the next no, it's a half an hour. You just did your daily thing.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel better and you talk better to people and it's good for mental health. It's good for you mentally.
Yeah, it's a great release. Definitely. Otherwise you'll be crying, which is similar, right? Same. It's gotta come out one way or the other.
Yes. And then the hydration, I seen you smiling there.
Yeah. The 5 beer hydration plan is not.
Yeah. No, but people think that they really do. They think that. They think that they're drinking 6 beers. Oh, I'm keeping myself hydrated, or wine or something. No, you got to have water. That's why they come and bring you water. A lot of people don't understand. Like when you go to these lounges and go to these places, they bring you water. They're bringing you that for a reason.
But is the jury out on coffee still, or because I've heard mixed things about coffee that actually people always thought it was dehydrating, but maybe it actually has some more benefit than people realize in that respect.
Oh, well, I'm gonna have to check that one out because if they're drinking because you hear so many different things. You gotta
hear that it dehydrates you. Yeah. But water, there's nothing like water.
Yes. And good water, not maybe not so much from the tap.
Maybe not. Yeah.
But here at Real Life Matters, we like to know everybody's culture, where they come from, and their background. So if anybody wants to relate with you.
Yeah. So my background, I'm from near Lincoln, Nebraska, which for people in Canada, it's okay if you have no idea where that is, but it's in the middle of the United States.
Okay.
The prairie land of the United States, but I've lived in New York City for 20 years. Yeah.
I mean, you can bring you out of New York, but you can't bring the New York out of you.
Well, one way or the other. Yeah, no, I think there are both elements are in me for sure.
Okay.
And I value both aspects of culture, where I came from and also the incredible, breadth of culture that I have here in New York and the culture that I love so much that I fell in love with, which is Jamaican culture and Jamaican music culture.
Yeah, he's right there on that part in Jamaica, Queens.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a funny coincidence that a lot of Jamaicans, Jamaica, Queens was named Jamaica long before there was a Jamaican population here.
Wow.
But it was very obviously when there was a big immigration wave in the 60s and 70s, it was inviting because it was just the name was there. So you had a lot of people that came out here, including this company that I work for, VP Records, which was originally Randy's Records in Kingston, Jamaica, and then they moved and became VP Records in New York in 1977.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you're a part of that.
I'm a part of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, for the last 6 years, I've been director of Catalogue, which is really it's a great job for me because it brings together like all the background and passion that I developed about Jamaican music over decades as a DJ, as a writer, and as an event promoter, and kind of put it all to work, going through a catalog of 40,000 master recordings and trying to, work through that in the era that we're in right now, which is the digital streaming era.
Right.
We've gone through vinyl, CDs, MP3s, and now we're in the digital streaming era. And every era that you move into with a big catalog of music, you have to sort of manage it so that it gets to people in the best way possible and keep people aware of it. So that's in a nutshell what I'm involved with.
Okay, so are you doing any genre of music, or is it?
It's mostly reggae, mostly reggae and dancehall. Yeah, reggae and dancehall.
Okay. But so you get a few of those guys there, Shabba ranks.
Yes, Shabba. Like artists like Shabba haven't been with VP for decades, but a lot of artists like Shabba and specifically Shabba came through VP at one stage of their career.
Yes.
because the label is Jamaican owned, and it's always been very close to the core Caribbean audience. So that's the first stepping stone, like out of Jamaica to an international career. You touch the diaspora, you know, the Toronto, Miami, New York, London, wheresoever. And VP has always been very strong in those kind of communities.
Right, because well, you guys have, it's a big name. A lot of everybody knows you guys, us here, you guys in Toronto.
Yeah, as an independent, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So definitely. It's independent. You know, it's when you get into VP, that's like a big turning point.
Right. Unless you're going somewhere else. Yeah. And a lot of artists then go on, like Sean Paul, for example, Shaba, obviously, but Sean Paul is a great example of an artist who had an important breakout stage of his career at VP, and then went on to huge global pop star status. Yeah.
So, and who else was there? Did you have Maxi Priest, Taurus?
Well, yeah, Taurus Riley came through VP. Yeah, She's Royal would be one of the biggest tracks in the VP catalog. Maxi Priest did not come through VP because Maxi is, you know, a British artist. Now we have tracks with him in the catalog. Okay, but they're either licensed tracks or they were a little further down the line in his career. So yes, but not. He wouldn't be one that I would say broke through because of VP. But yeah, I mean, Taurus Riley is a great example. Busy Signal is a more recent example.
Yes.
Spice, of course.
Yes.
Egyptian. Yeah.
Okay.
They're yeah. I could go on and on and on, and it goes back.
So you have a big catalog.
Yeah, and it goes back to the days of, you know, not Bob Marley specifically, but his contemporaries in his era, where I'm talking about Dennis Brown, Gregory Isaacs. And I don't want to go all obscure on you in the history of music.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, no, there's like you're working with.
Yeah, no, there's artists like Johnny Clark and Cornell Campbell and Linval Thompson, you know, who were big artists in the 70s and into the 80s. And then you got the Wayne Smiths and the transition to dancehall, Under Me Sling Ting, and all of your King Jammy's recordings, Admiral Bailey, and the story goes on and on and on. And I'm just kind of like touching on.
Did you get Charlie Chaplin?
Yeah. Charlie Chaplin. Early in his career. You know, one thing I guess I should point people to, when I started here, I put together a 40th anniversary historical overview of the company called Down in Jamaica, 40 Years of VP Records. And if you go onto Spotify, Apple Music, you know, whatever your streaming platform is, YouTube, you name it, you can search for VP Records Down in Jamaica, and you'll get an overview of the label through about 80 songs over 40 years. I also curated the VP Records Legendary Labels playlist for Spotify. So that's another slice of it, slightly different, but that'll give you the history. And those things start off in the 70s, really. But I mean, the history of the company, like I said, it goes back to the very beginning of the recording industry in Jamaica in 1958. And you had artists like from the Calypso era coming into the ska era, Lord Creator and the Scotalites and Alton Ellis. It's a deep history. And it's just been this family, the family are the Chin family, Vincent and Patricia of V and P. They founded the company.
Wow.
They started with an ice cream parlor that they turned into a used record shop, that they turned into a recording studio, that they turned into eventually the biggest independent distributor of Jamaican and Caribbean music. So it's quite a story.
But so when you do your selection for the catalog, how do you do what's your process for that? There
are two ways, and honestly, the process has evolved. I think when I created that Down in Jamaica collection, I was looking at what were the most culturally relevant songs by the biggest artists who had a moment of their career with VP. So if it started off with a track like Party Time by the Heptones, VP didn't have a lot of tracks by the Heptones, but I knew Party Time was an important moment for the group. And the producer of that is the famous eccentric Lee Scratch Perry. So that's where I started it with. Now that process is different to how I look at things today when I'm working in the digital space, because in the digital space, strictly, the sort of fame and notoriety and the number of followers that an artist has, you know, on social media and on those streaming platforms, it becomes like this overriding consideration compared to things that were like the most culturally relevant at the time, because it's all being redefined by new generations.
Right.
I don't know if that makes sense. It might sound strange, but what I'm saying is, let me give you I don't know if I can give you a super good specific.
Yes.
But the group, for example, the group Culture in Jamaica was known indisputably for a track called 2/7's Clash. But in the digital era, they have more popular tracks because it's younger people who are redefining
Selecting it.
Yeah, younger people are redefining it. So, and people in different places other than Jamaica are defining it as well. So now you have tracks like Humble African and Why Am I a Rastaman? And those came on in the last 20 years for a group whose legacy in Jamaica started in the 70s. So yeah, it causes me to the process really causes me to re-examine different tracks from different time periods. But it's very important to me to continue to shine a light if I think something's being overlooked in the digital space, to say, hey, look, in Jamaica in the 70s, this particular artist and this particular song were really important, and now we have a blind spot towards them just because of the streaming space. So there's a lot of balancing to be done. So
that means a lot of work.
Yeah, yeah,
that equals the work.
It is, and it's really as much work as I could do for the rest of my life, probably, to really get it sorted out. But I just take it. You know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, I guess.
I don't know if I'm eating an elephant, but anyways.
Well, there's only one way to do it.
All right. So what made you want to create the festival in Coney Island?
Yeah, so that's kind of how this conversation got started. And I just sent out a press release about it. Coney Island Reggae on the Boardwalk started in 2010. And it's because as a DJ, I live in Brooklyn in Flatbush, and I'm a bicyclist, and I used to still go to Coney Island on my bike just for leisure. And I used to see every summer there were DJs all up and down the boardwalk. And I was like, well, that looks fun. I want to do that. And long story short, I found out the process was really, you have to get a permit and do it yourself. It's not like they have a promoted series or anything. You just have to set up and do it. So when I cooked up this idea, it kind of started to develop in early on to the point that, do you want to do it with a sound system versus a PA? A PA being a smaller type of system that would, probably pull the interest of 25, 30, 50 people. Do you want to do it with a sound system? This is what somebody asked me. And I was like, yeah, why not? Let's do it with a sound system. Do it properly, like Caribbean people do. Do it like Jamaican people do. Yeah. And so from the first time out, which was in June of 2010, we brought one column of a sound system, put it up, and man, it was amazing. It was just a vibe from the very get-go, because we had the core people who listened to my radio program on WKCR-FM at Columbia University. They were all there. And then passersby were drawn into it because it was such a presence. It was a presence on the boardwalk. And, wow. we were playing very accessible, classic reggae from the 70s and 80s, kind of a mellow, feel-good vibe that kind of matched the spirit of the beach. And so yes. it just pulled people in. And every time I've done it since then. And I've probably, I don't have a number, but I think I've done it 40 something times over the years, you know, usually 4 times per summer.
Wow.
And every time it's just been incredible. And, you know, the only thing that gets in our way is occasionally we get rained out, but surprisingly that hasn't happened very many times.
Well, do you have a tent now or not really?
Well, the tent only covers the DJ and some of the gear, but
it won't cover anybody.
Boy, I'll tell you though, last year we had a rain came through at one of the events, and it was pouring and people were under the tarp that we had. And when that rain stopped, I swear there were more people that all of a sudden just showed up right after the rain than there were before. It couldn't keep people away. It was amazing.
Wow.
So I feel that the event has.
So what time does it start at? Does it start in the evening? Is it in the daytime?
It's in the middle of the afternoon.
Okay.
So it's from 2 to 6 at Coney Island.
Oh, well, that's a good time.
Yeah, no, it's a time. It's like it's a mature party. Well, mostly mature. Yeah. You know, it's because we really capture the classic reggae sound. And yeah, it's from 2 to 6 in the afternoon. And yeah, it's been incredible. The number of people who have come and the number of prominent performers and DJs who have been there. It's humbling to me to see how much it's been embraced by the community. But I realize that there's really not much else like it. And even since then, I think a number of similar events have kind of sprung up to fill the need. And because I'm happy to say that I showed people the potential. So you have other sound system events at various parks around Brooklyn. And because of COVID, we didn't have any in-person event in 2020. And in 2021, the opportunity came to try the event at a place called K Bridge Park in Brooklyn. And K Bridge Park has become the second home for the event. And I'm always doing at least 2 events there every year. That's between Brooklyn and Queens under the Kosciuszko Bridge, which is on the Brooklyn Queens Expressway down below. And that's where we are this coming Sunday, July 7th.
Woo!
Yeah.
Everybody get ready.
Yeah. And then I've got 2 more events through the rest of the summer. One is at Coney Island on August 4th. And then on August 31st, with the sponsorship of the Queensboro president, we're at the Rockaway Beach Amphitheater.
Oh, that's nice. So you guys have food there between 2 and 6? Or?
Yeah, we have Jamaican food, and there's always like 1 and 2. It's kind of it's formal, but not that formal. And sometimes there'll just be, you know, a little man with his coconut and cane and ting, he'll just show up, and I love that. I love that because it's not like it's a free event. So I try to keep it as a community event and keep it friendly and I'm not trying to squeeze every dollar out of any potential vendor. You know, but they do, everyone who feels the spirit of it, if they come and they have their food vending and they, you know, they make some money, they contribute to the cause. So I think the spirit of the event has been very good in that sense. But I am sponsored also by the Brooklyn Arts Council, which is a grant-making agency that serves the state of New York in our borough of Brooklyn. So they've supported the event for the better part of the last 10 years with a grant.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good that they're supporting that. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to tell anybody or shout outs or stuff like for your people?
Yeah, a couple shout outs. I think I want to shout out my sound system partner for the last 10 years, who is Chanter. We call him Chanter. He's from Hanover in Western Jamaica, and his sound system is called Chanter, the Timeless Sound. And it's he and his sons, and they're, you know, salts of the earth and amazing people from a beautiful part of Jamaica. And I think because I come from a kind of a rural part of the country and he comes from a rural part of Jamaica, and we're both like transplanted to this urban place, somehow that experience like gives us a you know, we're kind of like kindred spirits, and we both like the same kind of music too. He's older than I am, but I've definitely embraced the music of his generation. So I have to big up Chanter. I have to big up the North Brooklyn Parks Alliance, who manage K Bridge Park, for making that space available. Because because they've been great when I needed them. And then all the DJs, I can't even give credit where credit is due to all the DJs and the personalities who've shown up and been a part of it. You know, like early on, I can always thank Mikey Jarrett, who is a performer from Jamaica, who's had a career here in New York, and he was an early part of the event. And you know, people like regular selectors, like this Sunday, I have Downbeat the Ruler, who's a much loved and very respected Sound Clash veteran, and he's back in town from Atlanta, and he's going to be there. Sir Tommy is another veteran, and you know, these guys are like really seasoned New York Jamaican selectors. So in the community, they're extremely well known, and in some cases they're known outside the community because they've traveled or they've produced records or they've been successful in clashes or whatnot. But the event, just so you know, it's not a clashing sound event. It's not a lot of dub plates usually. It's more like juggling, what we call juggling. So it really celebrates people who can select and present in, you know, whatever way is authentic to them, whether that's mixing, like a lot of the New York DJs are very good with the turntables and they mix very accurately and cleanly, and that's a kind of New York style of thing. Whereas some of the older guys, they started off with one turntable and they just drop the needle and go with their little introduction. But I've referred to vinyl now a couple times. It's an all vinyl event.
Oh,
so yeah, I don't like put that out front but I realize how important that's been to the kind of cachet of the event, because on YouTube, if you search for Coney Island Reggae or Reggae Under the Bridge, there are a lot of videos, and people love the videos because I think people like to see DJs playing records.
Well, because they got to do something, and then they.
Yeah, I guess it's more visual. It's more visual than somebody staring at a laptop screen. You know.
Yeah.
The digital DJ thing. I think the technology is amazing, and I use both. I learned to DJ with vinyl, but I appreciate the advance in technology. So I'm not like some people are one or the other. I see both as valid. Okay. But because my event has this foundation, and I feel like a little bit of a preservationist, you know, I respect the tradition, and I want to continue to create space for people who come from that tradition or people who want to learn that tradition. Like this is what this event is about. So
wow.
Yeah. And I think if we narrowed it to, or if we opened it up to laptop DJs, actually, ironically, you would have a narrower focus of music. It would not be as broad, because the digital DJs in their competitive space are very focused on like hit records exclusively, and they don't go as deep, generally speaking.
Oh, okay. So they don't go back to the originals. Not
as much, no.
Okay.
And if they do go back to the originals, they're going back to the most best known one that everybody's already heard it a lot.
Oh, okay. So they're not doing something that everybody really didn't hear.
They're not teaching anyone. They're not really teaching anyone anything.
Oh, okay. But so when you're doing your thing, do you plan already for next year already, or?
I do it 1 year at a time. Yeah, because of the cycle, the application cycle for the grant is in the fall, and the permits happen in the fall and winter. Okay. But yeah, it's pretty predictable that it's a stable event and can continue. You know, even if I lost, knock on wood, if I lost my funding, I know that I could continue the event because I started from nothing, and I can make it happen. Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
Yeah. And it's a very humble event. It's a very community oriented event, and you know, I'm proud of it, because to me, I'm not opposed to making money, and I'm not opposed to the idea of it being scaled up, but it's just never quite happened in a way that felt authentic. If it was going to go like that, what's the next step? Some big corporate sponsor? I don't know that I want to slap a bunch of corporate logos all over it when it says authentic as it is right now. I mean, somebody could come hand me a pile of money tomorrow and I might change my mind, but
we got to do it like this.
Yeah.
join, but you got to.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's good that you're doing it and you're keeping it in the community, and how you're keeping, the authenticity, to that, it's very authentic. So you're keeping that.
It's humbling to me to be, as a cultural outsider, to be embraced by the Jamaican community here in New York. I don't take that for granted. I think that's an honor, and I want to try and reciprocate that respect by keeping the event free for sure, and also just real, and not have it be not mess it up with any kind of ulterior motive. It's
right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
All right. Wow. We heard about your journey, and you didn't think you would get it all out, but you did.
Yeah, we got two pretty key points. We got two pretty key points in it. I think the only other thing I didn't really talk about in my journey, one of the things that's been really important for me is being a radio DJ and having a radio platform, and the affiliation with WKCR, the Columbia University station, has been crucial for me, because it's such a credible station in New York, and it had an audience that immediately translated into an audience for Reggae on the Boardwalk. Wow. It's like all of a sudden I do this event, and all of a sudden here are all these people who've been listening to me on the radio, and that made that very real and tangible. So I'm grateful for all of it.
So do you stream when you do this event? Do you stream it through the radio station at the same time?
No. It's not really, the event itself is not affiliated with the station. I do record all the events, and I have somebody who comes and usually does a video document of the events, and then we get them posted to YouTube. So they're mostly viewable after the fact. We kind of fell off that program last year, but the event we had earlier the event we had in June last month was recorded, has not been uploaded yet, but it will be. And so it's, if you just search on YouTube, if the viewers are interested, you want to get your social medias and all that. Yeah, search for Coney Island Reggae or Reggae Under the Bridge on YouTube, and the same on Facebook. We have a Facebook group, and the Instagram account is Coney Island Reggae. ConeyIslandReggae, Coney Island Reggae. And then my Instagram is Carter Van Pelt, CarterVanPelt. And so that's how you kind of follow and keep up to date with what we're doing.
Keep up to date with all your events, since you got all these events that you're going to be booked.
Right.
It's going to be a busy summer.
Oh yeah. I do what I can do what I can manage. Yes. Yeah.
Well, the point is that you're not just talking, you're doing it. So that's, that's the thing. But, Carter, I do want to thank you for telling us about your journey, and the journey continues on, because you're obviously doing this Coney Island Reggae and Reggae Under the Bridge. And people, if you're out in the New York area, or you want to go attend events, go look on the website, contact him. He'll tell you, or somebody will get back to you and tell you what to do, when it's going on, and what time. Well, he says it goes on from 2 to 6. It's like a mature crowd. Yeah. So, which is good, because people like going out in the day, especially today.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice summer activity. It's definitely, I can tell you that it's become a part of the cultural life of New York City in the summer, and it's something people really look forward to, and I feel great about that. Yeah.
NYC's in the house, people.
Yeah.
So we always like the people coming on from NYC. They're keeping it real, keeping you down to earth, keeping you informed of all the stuff going on, because New York's a busy city. So when they have things going on, it's really going on. Just like here in Toronto, it's a very busy city also.
It's still on the map. Yeah, yeah. But Toronto beats New York for keeping the streets clean.
Well, that's what we're told here.
I respect y'all for immensely.
I guess, well, you've been up here, right? You've been here to Toronto.
Love Toronto. Okay. What a great, incredible city. Yeah, you're. And
I guess you've been to Niagara Falls too.
I haven't.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you're flying here. If you're driving, maybe you'll go through that way.
Right. That's the difference. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, you got to come back again and let us know next year when your stuff's going on. So I do want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight here with Real Life Matters with Carter Von Pelt.
Thank you, DBoss.
No problem. Good night, everybody.